Hello there and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Daphne. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. As promised in last week's video, I wanted to give you the story of our complete kitchen makeover that lasted over the span of a year. This is how the kitchen looked prior to us purchasing the home. This is how the former owners had it decorated and the state of it. Now, we lived with a version of that kitchen for about 2 or 3 years. When we first came in, we did update the appliances and we also painted, but we didn't do any major remodels. About 3 years in, I decided to do a mini facelift, which is how the kitchen is looking imaged here. I did painting, I did Kindle charcoal, which is a Benjamin Moore color, on all of the cabinets. I spray painted all of the hardware. I did a backsplash and I also painted the countertops. I used a white paint and I covered it with polyurethane. And we also did a vinyl floor that we applied, and we were happy with this for a couple of years until the countertop started yellowing as a result of the polyurethane seal that I had applied to the top of the counters. So we thought that we would be able to just remove the countertop and be able to replace it. But little did we know the countertop and the backsplash was attached. So when we went to go pull out the countertop, the backsplash came with it. And this really showed us the state of how bad the kitchen was, and it pushed us towards doing a full Reno gut job so that we can, address all of the holes that were in the walls and also the electrical. So this home was our second home. We had a townhome that we had for 5 or 6 years where we did a mini makeover in our kitchen. We didn't have to bring it down to the studs. We just had to swap out the cabinets and just do minor updates, change the tile on the backsplash and also on the floor. And during that project, we went with the Home Depot, and we only purchased the cabinets from the Home Depot, and then we had a local contractor install the cabinets for us. We did have a couple of hiccups in that project, but nothing like what we encountered with using the Home Depot. So this was not a rush job on our part. We really wanted to make sure that we, picked the right products and, just made sure that when we did this renovation that we would really like the results. Now, I can say we were not as educated in the types of building materials as we are currently, but we did have a lot of knowledge at that point. So we proceeded to go to the consultation with Home Depot. We picked out the cabinets, we got them measured, they came out and they did the full layout of the cabinets. And also we sat with the consultant and we just talked about different points of the project that we wanted to have addressed. The first mistake that I would say we made was the choice of the cabinets. We didn't get hardwood cabinets, and this is not because I didn't want hardwood cabinets. I just didn't realize that the product that we had purchased wasn't hardwood cabinets. They were I guess, MDF with thermofoil applied on the outside. After having the cabinets installed, I found out more information on thermofoil, and it definitely, at the time, if I had known that, I definitely would not have purchased that type of cabinet. But that is the least of the problems that we had with this kitchen. So unfortunately, when you're working with a big box store, they subcontract out all of the work. And for this particular project, they had two companies that they were working with. One of them was a local company that has their own showroom and operates separately from Home Depot and is in New York. They were the company that Home Depot decided to take the bid for our project. I had a consultation with the project manager. I walked him through the fact that we suspected that there would be asbestos in the floor tile, and I had conversations with him, and he assured me that they would test the floor prior to doing any demolition or trying to remove the tiles. They would thoroughly have it analyzed. So on the day of the installation, on the day of the demolition, the team arrived. I had a conversation with the project manager at that point, and he yet again assured me that they would not be proceeding without taking samples. So on the day of the demolition, myself and my husband were both at home, and we were upstairs, and we were just listening to the crew doing all of the demolition downstairs. And we would come down and we would check to see the progress of what was going on. Little did we know, they were just told to come in and totally demolish the entire kitchen, including the linoleum that I had pointed out might have asbestos. So when we saw this, we stopped them immediately. We called up the company, and we also called up Home Depot. And we were out of our home for 2 weeks for the linoleum to be tested, to find out that it did have asbestos, and then to have it remediated. My biggest advice is, if you do pick to go with a big box store, make sure if you are not happy with the work, you immediately get on the phone with corporate and you report the contractors or the store, and you get a corporate representative involved so that they can ensure that everything that you want with your project be adhered to. They make sure that Home Depot stands behind the work that the contractors are doing. So that is the only saving grace of this entire project, is that we were able to have an advocate in the corporate office for Home Depot. This is the work of the first installers that Home Depot had subcontracted out. The work was absolutely horrible. The person had never installed cabinets before. They put numerous holes throughout the cabinets, our walls, pinched wires. It was absolutely horrible. This process took over a year, and 2 subcontractors later, we were able to finally have the kitchen that we could live with. Now, everything that you see here was with me having to go point by point and show them exactly the reveal that I wanted for each cabinet, making sure that the reveal was the same from corner all the way over, because these are things that you don't think that you have to say, but with this kitchen, I had to say everything. I had to point out the fact that wires were being pinched. I had to point out the fact that some material was damaged. We had to show them how to install the molding on the walls, which I find absolutely insane. So while I love the way that my kitchen looks now, it was a long and hard journey. And I just want to caution you, before you take on a project like this, make sure that the company that you're going to use is an expert in the field, and make sure that you watch them very closely to make sure that everything that you talked about and you want in your kitchen is what is going to happen. I hope that this video helps you in the process, not only to think about what company you go with, but if you happen to go with a company and you run into issues, make sure that you're being heard and that you have someone to advocate for you, and you speak up and you make sure that everything is, at the end of the day, what you paid for. So I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I am having a recap at the end so that you can see some of the videos that we have recently done in the home. Until next week, have a blessed day.